G'day mate and welcome back to Captain Ministry with me, Jitty. In the last episode, well, we put in a little bit of exhaust scrubbing, just started cleaning up the air a little bit. We mainly concentrated on, well, the oil build and got the exhaust out of that, which, you know, is going to definitely improve the air quality around the island. And the reason we want to improve the air quality is, well, occasionally people get the flu because people don't know how to wash their hands. They keep coughing and sneezing on one another. It's just gross. And when flu season rolls around, their health gets a little bit low. And if it gets too low, some people need to be replaced. Let's put it that way. So we want to clean up the air. We also like to clean up the water, and well, we also stop dumping landfill in the sea because we added the incineration plant in the last episode, which now means, very importantly, we no longer dump trash in the sea. Instead, we burn it. But we are, and this is the important factor, we are cleaning up the exhaust that comes out of that incineration center as well. Today's episode, I want to move forward with that. I want to finish cleaning up as much of the air as possible. Also, stop dumping, I can't say it because I'll get demonetized in the first couple of minutes of the video. But yeah, the things that we're dumping in the sea from the population that happens whenever they go to the bathroom. So, with that thought in your head, can I ask the most important question of all? Can I borrow a like? I just like to borrow a like. I like to borrow a like early in the video. Not happy with us no longer dropping the waste in the sea, then well, you can have your like back. I offer 100% refund on all likes should you not enjoy the video. At the same time, I am going to remind you, you should probably click the subscribe button because although the banner says 26k and we're at 27k, I'm hoping to avoid updating it for a little while and just jump straight to 29k. Come on, you don't want to click the button. You know you want to do it. All right, but with that out of the way, let's get into blaming past JD for his past mistakes. The first thing we need to do at the start of every episode is, of course, thank the wonderful supporters of the channel. Those that go above and beyond, those that break open their wallet and say, look, I run an ad blocker, I feel bad about it because I enjoy your content, JD, and I understand you need to pay basic bills, like, you know, probably need to eat for yourself, and I think you need power and internet to, at the very least, record the videos and upload them to YouTube for me. So, I need to thank the wonderful, let's see if I can pronounce the name correctly. Zaki Dabas for being a wonderful YouTube member and choosing the support channel. Thank you, Zaki, for going above and beyond and becoming a YouTube member. Enjoy early access to these videos. Remember, you got to go across to Discord and link your YouTube account to Discord, and then boom, you'll get auto-enable into the wonderful channel where you can start getting the videos a little bit early. Anyway, with that out of the way, we need to go through and talk about a couple of things. First off, in the last episode, we finished the research to get more wonderful trucks. And as we can see, everything's stable, and the Diggy team has been told to remove everything. Yeah, we're just going to clean a bit of area around here so we can get in more houses. Also, remember that transformer that I said we'd never have to move again? Story is my life. So what I want to do is the vehicle depot. We're going to crank out 10 more excavators because why not? Also going to remove, come on, old transformer up, new transformer goes away. The other way around. Yes. I need to remove another transformer. Now, I'm going to need some more housing, so we're going to pause that so the trucks can get that delivered and built. But our plan is to clear a bit of area here where we can promptly get, more houses put in. Also, the Diggy team is just, annihilating everything they can see. Yeah, the Diggy team is currently 30 strong, and we're going to add 10 more to it. Also, we've chosen to extend the docks out, but I've blocked them off and made sure they can't do this until this is at least squared off. All right. With that out of the way, what else do I have to do? That was everything. We did have a slight backup here, and that was because some pipes were not quite the right thickness. So I've upgraded all the pipes and made them a little bit thicker, but the only thing we're dealing with currently exhaust-wise is, the oil builds, which is not where all our exhaust comes from. We have 8 air pollution still and 8 water pollution, and I'd like to get down here and deal with some of this pollution. We have the copper smelters. Copper smelters have 24 pollution each. This is the number you all exhaust each. This is the number you should work off, because although sometimes they run scrap, they don't always run scrap. So we should work off this number. And we have 4 of them, which means we have 96 total exhaust out of these guys. I already have a pipe put in to grab that exhaust in just a second. We also have the concrete guys. Concrete guys are doing 9 each, which means we have a total of 36 exhaust from bricks. We have the paper mill. The paper mill that needs 6 paper, and for every 1/2 steam we get 12 paper. And for every 48 wood chips, we get 48 steam. We need 0.75 of that steam, and that would output 36 exhaust for every 48 steam. So this outputs a 0.3, a 3/10 of a nothing worth of exhaust. But we're going to grab this exhaust as well. The other end of the pipe is a whole different pipe, and it goes over to here, where a majority of our exhaust comes from. So of course we have iron smelting. Iron smelting currently is doing, well, we've got 3 of them doing 24 exhaust each, which is a total of 72. So that's a somewhat significant amount of exhaust, okay? Then we get into steel. Now, steel is slightly different. These guys obviously output 24 exhaust each, but the oxygen furnace also outputs 24 exhaust each. And this is where the numbers definitely climb. We've only got 4 of these guys doing 4 lanes worth of, well, four outputs of steel. Let's go with 4 outputs worth of steel. And this is 192 exhaust by itself. Now, each double scrub does 360 exhaust, which is both good and bad. It means that, well, we have some spare capacity in this set, just a little bit, not a lot, but we have some. And, I have, well, what was it? It was 96 plus 36, so what's that? We'll call it 140 exhaust. Paper is 3/10 for nothing, so we'll still call it 140. Plus I have 200 plus another 80. Well, yeah, 200 plus 80. So I have about 280 exhaust, well, first off coming down this pipe, which means a Mark II pipe's probably not going to cut it for me. Plus I have another 140 exhaust. So we need to apply a little bit more, just a little bit more exhaust filtering. So what we're going to do is we're going to break everything we just built. Can I remove all of that? Can I also remove that? Can I also remove that bridge? Cool. Everybody goes away. Now, the original blueprints I dumped down last episode were the work in progress blueprints. The good news is over on Discord, well, the final blueprint went up, which is the proper double scrub. Proper double scrub, a little bit easier to read, and I also added some notes. So it takes in 360 exhaust and 48 water. Produces 96 water along with 12 sulfur. Will also require 144 seawater, so we need to go find some seawater to plug into the system, and output 48 brine. The system cuts 180 pollution from exhaust into just 84 from the machines and dump CO2. And then we've got, you know, details if you want to get more blueprints, blah, 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 blah. So I have a seawater problem. That's the first thing we need to cover. So I have 3 of these guys doing 108 each. We'll just call it 330 for easy maths. And we're using, well, let's start this end. We're using you running it flat out, which is going to use 108. You're running this recipe at 50% and this recipe at 50%. So we have 108 seawater multiplied by 1.5, because I have 1.5 of them. Plus I have the other recipe, plus 72 multiplied by, well, 1, 2, 3 currently. So that's 3.5. So currently, what? Is that right? No, that's not right. 1, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Currently, I was using 342 seawater, which is, you know, basically 3 of these. We couldn't quite run it at full speed, but it was close. It was close. As for brine, we had, well, I just got to change that the 108. So we had 42 brine at 1.5 of, and 24 brine. So we had 132 brine out, which means 2 dumps were more than enough to cover everything. With the new system, we're going to up this to 4.5 of those guys. So I need to have 171 brine, which automatically means, as we can all tell, I'm going to need to have 3 brine machines, because these do 60 apiece. So you're going to have to get built, you're going to have to get built, and you're going to have to get upgraded. Cool. 200 pipes should be plenty. Okay, as for our, well, actual processing, can I go back to this one, because you have both recipes selected. So we have 108 seawater in and 72 seawater in. So I need 486 seawater to run everything at full capacity. A pipe Mark III only moves 450. I'm going to be bad. I admit I'm going to be bad. I'm going to be so bad. Unplugged that in the wrong spot. I'm going to be so bad, and I am just going to run 3 of them into the one pipe. 4 of them in the one pipe, which means you output 110 each. So we're going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, about 440. A little bit short of 440. I need 486. So we can't run the system at full capacity. But it means I don't need to dick around, and I don't need to get 2 pipes through here for seawater and then plug in 2 pipes worth of seawater at the back, because that's just going to be a little bit of a nightmare. Okay, with that done, we don't need this bucket for sulfur, because we have a belt that runs the sulfur. You go into you. Perfect. All right, this is our clean water output, which plugged into, not that one, that's the brine, that one. So I need to plug this into here, plus I'm going to have to plug in this seawater as well. So we're going to go there to there, and I'm going to move this down, sure, down just a little bit to give me some free space. Cool. Can I build that and that and that? It's sort of important we hook up the water out reasonably quickly. Yeah, all right. We also need to hook in our brine. So our brine pipe, we currently have a Mark II pipe. I'm going to have to keep it at Mark II speed. So I want to get this pipe built as soon as possible to remind me to upgrade it. I'm going to remove you off the end. I'm going to grab a Mark II pipe and run it out to there. I am going to need to add to my system a pipe balancer, because we need to take some of that brine and plug it back into this pipe over here. This pipe, if we remember, ducts over here and runs to you, which then provides our chlorine, which then makes our plastic. So I sort of want that plugged in. Also, we're going to want the chlorine for a different project, which we're going to get to hopefully today. So we're going to run you to there, and then over to here, and then into there. Okay, so that'll be our brine. We're going to quick deliver that. I'm going to have a priority out to there. Then this is our brine output pipe, which is where the spaghetti is going to start, because, well, I can. All right, so that's that. Then the last thing I need to do is my seawater. My seawater, we are on basically a 450 pipe all the way through. So I need to plug that into there. I need to build that pipe, build that pipe, build that pipe. Also need to get my seawater out of here. Yep. Up to height 1, right over that balancer, and then into there, and then this pipe will also have to get upgraded. So upgrade to that one, and uni, that one, and that one, that one, upgrade that one, unity, that one. Cool. All right, with that done, I want to flip you for just a second. So you guys are now still producing clean water, plus you also have your seawater coming in. We've added our seawater upgrades to make sure that we have plenty of seawater coming in. We've also upgraded our brine out, okay? All we need to do is, well, get this system built and then grab our exhaust. Probably would work better if that balance was built, but it's now definitely built. Okay, so that's that system up, built, and upgraded. We're good to go. Now I just need to go and grab all my exhaust from all my different sources and bring it up here. We're going to start right here, because this is where I left the pipe, and transports. I'm going to need a pipe Mark III, which I'm going to run on ground level for just a minute so I can put a ramp in. We're going to need to have a ramp no matter what for trucks to have access. Then I need to stop here and here, and, well, ramps and pipes don't mix. Neither do belts. I have seen other people said, look, you know, I really wish the devs would just add a special animation or whatever for pipes and belts, so they went up, well, the same angle of ramps as a hill or an excavator would dig. And I tend to agree. I wouldn't mind that either. All right, I need to put in a couple of things here. We're going to need a ramp. I'm going to put in a big boy ramp, because I already know we're going to be running many more pipes through this area. Also going to put in a little ramp here and a little ramp here, so we have access. And we're going to build that and build that and build that. All right, I've stopped my pipe short. I need to run exhaust in here. But what I want to do is I want to put in a priority system. So I want to, because I know I have more than 360 exhaust in this pipe, and if I just jam it all in here, it's just going to vent whatever's left over out this pipe, out the chimney. I don't really want it to vent it out the smokestack. I would prefer to, well, run the excess into this one. So we're going to put a pipe in here. We're going to run a U-burn 360. So I'm going to need to have a large one into there, And then whatever's left over is going to come into this balancer. You are going to prioritize out this way, and we're going to build this. Now, it also means that this smokestack, I'm going to turn off. I don't need this smokestack. The idea is we're going to run all the exhaust into the first system, and only what it can't process it'll run in the second system. Now, if the second system gets overloaded, well, this is why we have the smokestacks. They can just vent off whatever's excess. For that to happen, it means the refinery has to be running flat out, and everything else has to be running flat out to saturate both systems. Also, technically, if we're short on brine or seawater or whatever else, that would also fill those criteria. You are still definitely running? Yes. Okay. So I just need to grab all my exhaust sources, which should be as easy as press the delete key, say no to you, no to you, no to you, and you, and you. Cool. And then we just grab Uni and just slide over the top. All right, with that done, we should be able to go into transports. I need a skinny pipe because these are not moving a lot of gas. And we're going to run that into there. We're then going to run that into there. We're then going to run that into there and that into there. And you are going to run into that corner. Cool. And then just, well, I didn't really want to build that building. I just realized. Off. Okay, we've got more maintenance when we need it. All right, so that should get all the exhaust outputting, and we can see we have exhaust in the pipe. Excellent. No exhaust, no exhaust. There is some exhaust, there's some exhaust, and exhaust is flowing up here. Okay, it's going to run on these balances. It'll turn on this system as soon as it gets here. We need to get the other side done now. Okay, so we're going to remove you and you and you, also you and you and you and you and you and you, and then hope that I didn't misclick anything. You need all of that. Okay, same story. This is only 24 exhaust, so I can go straight into there. This is 24 exhaust with 24 exhaust being 48, and it can go into there. Okay, this is where things get a little bit more tricky. This is 24 and 24 already, so that's 48, which I need to bring through to here. Then I need to merge these together. So now I have, what, 24, 48, 96, which is more than my little pipe can handle. So I need to run that up to there. And then with the power of copy and paste, I can put the exact same thing right here. Well, I don't think that connector actually exists, but okay. Rotate and rotate. Oh, connector went away. And then run this pipe into here. You already had, 96? So we've got 96 exhaust at this point. And then I've added another 100. Which means we're already have 200 exhaust at this point. Which means when I build the third one, we're going to dump 300 exhaust on this pipe. It doesn't move 300 exhaust. So it also needs a quick upgrade to tier 3. So it now has a max capacity of 450. But this means that this pipe should fill up fairly quickly. This pipe, we can already see, is at 200 with 100% full. So you move 200, so you have 200 exhaust in it per second, which is fine. There's just a little bit of a backlog from, well, waiting at half a second whilst all of them output. Well, all of them didn't have a chimney attached. But we can see we're using 75% of this pipe. So if I go 450 multiplied by 0.75, I know this pipe has 337.5 exhaust in it. If I come to, you've got bless all, let me watch this for a second. We're going to see this is going to start counting up, and it should end up 80-ish%. 90. Come on, and then you should settle back down. 85-ish, I think. Okay, we're going to go with 90%. 90% is the magic number. So, multiplied by 0.9 means I have 405 total exhaust. This system removes 360. So that means the last 40 needs to go into this system, and, well, I don't think it's going to be much of a hassle. So you should be running at 100% capacity. You are. And the excess, being 30, 40%, should be flowing over here. Now, one thing I do want to mention very, very quickly with Captain Mystery, like most factory games, is not everything happens instantly. Things happen in bursts. What's your problem? You have too much water. Too much. Oh, because I didn't flip that back. We flipped it to one way to pressurize the system. There we go. All right. Things happen in bursts. So I have all the recipes normalized to 60 seconds, but if I turn this off, we can see it's running in a 10-second burst. Okay. If I go down to my exhaust machines and normalize this is running in 20-second burst. So different machines have different burst rates, which then affects how much can be in a particular item, a particular number. Like we can see this is long enough that it's settled down to 80%. This should be, if this is 80% full, this should be 100% all the time. But it's not, because different things happen at different tick rates, and therefore, you know, there is some interesting numbers when it comes to the maths and things you have to account for. The bottom line is that's not running, so we're processing everything. That's the important thing. But that brings me on my water problem. Because I've now made myself a water problem. We have, let's go back to you. We have 78 clean water multiplied by 1.5. because we have 1.5 machines running this recipe, plus 72 clean water multiplied by, well, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 machines. So 4.5. Okay. I have 441 clean water. That's a bit of a problem. But then I need to subtract 5 lots of 24, because you all use 24 water each. So we're going to go with let's just 441. 441 minus 24 multiplied by 5. Okay, in brackets. In brackets. Yes, it does handle brackets. Okay, 321 water minus another 18 water. It means I have 303 clean water. That pipe is a 200 pipe. It's going to get saturated. So I need to upgrade this pipe, okay, which comes into our balancer. We've already upgraded this pipe that goes off to oil to 200, but this pipe is still a 200. So I'm going to have to upgrade this pipe as well, because potentially, if oil is not running for any reason, I need to dump 300 clean water, which means this is going to come down here, down here, down here, down here, down here, where I need to also upgrade this pipe, because potentially we have 300 clean water I need to deal with. Then it's going to come into this balancer. Now, this balancer is going to probably get an upgrade for the rain catchers. This balancer takes in water from that pipe, that pipe. That pipe goes to here. Think of these guys as a giant tank. They're a giant tank with 2,700 clean water in them. But if you don't run them, they'll fill up. And they'll fill up to, 18,000 clean water. And that's what I'd really like to do. I'd really like to fill those tanks up. Now, the water's not here yet. It's on its way, but it's not quite here yet. So I want to take all my water and I want to run it down this pipe. This pipe takes it over to steel processing. Whereupon I want to put it in this pipe, and that should take, this pipe. One more. So I have 300 clean water minus whatever's gone into these farms, okay, minus whatever we've used for, concrete bricks, which is another 48 water, potentially, if it's running at flat out speed, minus whatever we've used in steel smelting. Yeah, so we've subtracted some amount of water so far. What I want to do is I still wanted to keep the 300 pipe for just 1 second longer, because I want to run this pipe through to here, and then I want to run it through to, well, you can go that way if you feel like it. If that is how you feel, pipe, I am not one to tell you how you can and cannot feel. You can go through there like that if you feel like it. All right, what I want to do is I want to come to here. This is the main water input, and this pipe travels all the way around the outside and off to the people. If I can substitute the people's water needs with, well, exhaust water, because that's essentially what we've made, then that sounds like a great idea to me. So what I want to do is I want to have a priority in from this one, which means this water that's coming from exhaust and it's flown through all these systems should now be the priority focus for, well, going into the colony. Iron ore. They're digging. Please be patient. Oh, you're not marked as keep full. That's the issue. And that way somebody can take it out of this bucket. All right. So, there we go. We have plenty of water. Have plenty of water, which means these guys are going to stop running. Which means, again, this tank can fill up. It's a giant tank. It's how you have to think about it. All right. Which means this problem is no longer going to be a problem. Like, the only spot I'm drawing off water is right here. But I want to do a few more things. So, these guys are also outputting exhaust, 60 apiece. Now, I could put an exhaust scrubber in here. In fact, I've already put one in. The catch is, what we've been doing currently is we've been using, if you don't get things off the screen, we've been using thermal desalinators. Now, thermal desalinators need to have seawater and they need to have brine. My seawater's all the way over there. I could run pipes down here, but it would be a nightmare. I don't want to have the hassle. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to run a cooling tower. Cooling tower is going to get us back 50% of the water, which sounds good enough to me. At least it's something back. And we're then going to transports, have a pipe balancer, whack a pipe balancer in there. We're just going to grab that exhaust and flow it back into the system. Now, I need to have a couple of things first. First off, I need to have a chimney to deal with the 72 carbon dioxide. Technically, I don't need a double chimney. I'm going to grab a double chimney anyway. So I just want to come here and I want to grab a double chimney. I can make them, but it's just quicker and just to copy and paste. All right. Also going to have sulfur. Now, sulfur, I could, and I'm not ever opposed to just burning it off. Okay, I can just burn off the sulfur. You produce 6 sulfur if you're running flat out. You're not going to be running flat out. We're only having 60 and 60 exhaust go in there, so you're going to run at 2/3 speed. You're going to make about 4 sulfur. 4 sulfur is worth about 24, 14, 12 air pollution. 12 air pollution is not a lot, okay? We're cleaning up 120 exhaust, which is worth 60 air pollution. We're going to cut that down to 24. If I add 12 to it, we're still in an improvement. But I do have the option, and it's what we're going to do of storage. Can I get a bucket, please? We're just going to put a bucket here. A bucket here, we're going to set you to be sulfur. I'm going to set an empty condition, and we're just going to have sulfur, you know. Hello? Yeah. There to there. I want to make sure I keep this in line as much as possible. I don't really want to... I don't want things to stick out too far. I could put it right here and make my life easier, but we're going to instead put it in front. The trucks can reach under the pipe. Okay, what we need to do is we need to get this water and plug this water into here. We need to plug this balancer into there. And then I need to get a water source, which is just going to come off this pipe. I'm going to steal a little bit of water off this pipe because we're going to output 24 water in for 24 steam. We're going to get back half of that, so we're only going to consume 12 water per minute. So that's not too bad. The only other thing I need to do is I need to plug in my exhaust. So I'm going to grab that exhaust, and over here we have the glass smelter, which has another exhaust. So we're just going to grab these really quickly and do this as fast as possible because technically we're having power right this second. How many workers do you need? 8. We're okay so far, just. All right. Yeah, we don't have any power while this is not running. So as this is a retrofit, the piping is going to be a bit of a mess. Cool. But that is perfectly fine. It doesn't need... It doesn't need to be neat and tidy. What it needs to do is be functional and work. Can I bring you up to height number 3? We're going to dump you there, and then I don't care how you connect to this pipe. You just need to connect to this pipe. No. Okay. Can you go through the towers? You can go through the cooling towers. Okay. And then you can plug in there. Works for me. Okay. You, and that should be everything plugged in. All right. So you guys should start dumping exhaust into here. Yeah. Okay. Which should run in there, which already has its clean water. We've done the priority thing, and you'll then put the cool down steam back into the system, and everything shall be fine. Again, we've cleaned up a little bit more exhaust. So we've cleaned up all the exhaust from these guys, all the exhaust from these guys, also exhaust from our power plant. If we need another power plant, we'll just have to make sure we incorporate exhaust scrubbing into it somehow, and we're down to 2 available workers. So can I unpause you? Also, the Diggy crew has done a wonderful job of doing the Diggy. So we want to have housing services. I want to have a square with a column, which gives us the wonderful anchor, which we're going to put right there because it's free unit. Currently, we have a settlement quality of 0.73. With you added, well, we're going to go straight up to 1. I'm also going to add in another house because having a spare house never hurts. All right. So we've got to there, and the air pollution started off at -8. It's now down to -5. It's going to drop lower. It just needs a chance to balance. But next thing is water pollution. I still have 8 water pollution, and that is caused by you. We are dumping the poop into the sea at high speed. We're plugging 90 clean water into here, and I'm dumping 75 poop out, which is troublesome. So what I want to do is, we got this research a little while ago, which is the wastewater treatment. Under the wastewater treatment, one of these guys, hello, yep, one of these guys, I can take in wastewater with some sand and some chlorine and get back some clean water and some sludge, which is what we'd like to build. I'd like to build this here. In fact, I'd like to build 2 of them to plan for the future. The catch is somebody put recycling in the way. So recycling can go over there. Yeah. Do I want to dig that straight? No, not really. Not right now. But that had an avalanche. So you can definitely get dug straight. All right. So we're going to build this and then unbuild this. Cool. They'll just dump the trash. Well, not in the sea for a change. They'll dump it in recycling. All right. So, pro tip for those that are new to the game and have don't want to learn things the hard way. What I want to do, the very first thing I want to do is I want to put a fluid storage here and here. Okay. And I want to plug that to there. Okay. This is going to be for wastewater. And the only reason I want to have this here is so I can say an alert. Notify me if you are more than 25% full. If you are more than 25% full, we have a problem. And I need to sort it now. Because if your poop backs up, do I even need to finish that sentence? Didn't think so. All right. So you're going to take in 160 wastewater and give us back 80 clean water. We don't produce that much wastewater yet, but as the colony grows and everything else, we're going to get more wastewater. If we just look at some easy maths, we say we're currently producing 80 wastewater. We would get back 50% of that, being 40 wastewater, well, 40 now clean water, which we'd pump into the 92 that we're currently using, which means I'm going to only be using 50 clean water rather than 90 clean water. And, well, the other 40 comes from the recycled poop. Yeah. So I need to take our clean water. I need to run this pipe up and over to here and then into this balancer we placed previously. You're going to have a priority in from there. So you're going to use our old water and bring it, well, through a loop. All right, I also need to get in sand here and I need to get in chlorine. I'm going to want to put a sand bucket right about here, which I just ran a pipe through. So we're going to move that pipe and put that there. And then, whoop, pipe, yeah, is going to go around like that. Okay, pipe, sand. Sand is going to come into here and then into here. Great. Next thing I need to do is I need to deal with the poop. Okay, we're going to bring the poop out to that tile. Okay, poop goes to there. Poop goes to there. Cool. Now, I've built 2 of these. I don't need the capacity of 2 of these, but I wish to plan for the future. I wish to plan for 2 because, well, yeah, the last thing you want to have is too many people and not enough places to put your poop. All right, truck has no fuel we don't care about. Could not store our vegetables we don't care about. And water resource getting low, which is up to 35%. I think it's actually filling up, guys, because we're not really using it much anymore. That is still providing all our water into the town. We may run into a situation, which is an interesting situation to run into, where we might be actually producing too much clean water from all this, which we'll talk about if and when it happens, because then we're going to have to find a way to get rid of clean water. First world problems. All right, so you guys, you're going to output sludge. Now, one thing I love about Capital Industry is if you have a recipe, you're looking at it, you're not sure, you right-click on the recipe, which will then tell you all the places you can get sludge and all the places you can dispose of sludge. One of them is the anaerobic digester. Now, if I left-click on this, it'll put one of those in my hand so I can actually have an investigation of what it does. So, you output 24 sludge. You consume 18 sludge. If I have 2 of these guys, so if we have 24 plus 24 equals 48. If I have 48 and I divide it by 18, I need 2.67 of these guys to run to cover 2 of these machines. So our plan is going to be to put in 3 of them, because then we know we're covered. Cool, that is our 3. And can I pick them all up and flippy floppy them? Cool. Now, you're going to output 2 different things. One's going to be fuel gas. If I, again, right-click on that, I can see all the different things that make fuel gas, all the different ways we could consume fuel gas. If I took some water and added some fuel gas, we get some steam, which we could then run through a desalination unit and make even more power. We could also add some steam to it and turn to hydrogen. Yeah, that's a possibility. We have options. There are definitely options. We could take our fuel gas, add some oxygen, and get diesel and water. Now that's a pretty easy recipe. We can handle all that right here. The catch is, for every 18 sludge, you're going to give me 7.5 fuel gas. For every 160 wastewater, you're going to give me 24 sludge. We have 80 wastewater. Yeah, 80 wastewater, which means I get 12 sludge. 12 sludge is like 2/3 this recipe, so I only get 7 fuel gas. If we bring that back up again, for my 7 fuel gas, I need to run for multiple minutes to get diesel. Also, it means that I'm going to get about 5 diesel. Truck. You don't have any more with somebody with a bit more full of a fuel tank? You held 14 diesel. So getting 4 or 5 diesel per minute doesn't really add much. So we're not going to bother. We will find something else to do with the fuel gas, and we'll talk about that in a second. What I do need to do is, I do need to plug this into here, and then you won't reach that tile. No, you won't reach that tile. Okay, can you just go to there for a second then? Because I need to pick all these guys up and slide them over one more tile. Okay, with you slid over one more tile, now we can plug into there, and then into there, and then into there. Cool. We're going to have 2 ingredients, the fuel gas, also the compost. Compost, we can consume compost by adding to water, give me organic fertilizer. I don't have a fertilizer problem. We're not going to worry about that. Also, organic fertilizer will only take your farm up to 100% capacity on the soil fertility, whereas fertilizer 1 will take you 120%, and fertilizer 2 will take you 140%. If you're interested in fertilizer, a link at the top right-hand corner, Ultimate Guide to Farming, completely goes over soil fertility. It doesn't go over the different food types. That's a separate video that has been recorded 3 times, and then the game's in early access. The game keeps getting updated, and then the video is out of date between my day of recording and 2 days later when I might try to publish it. Yeah, the game went through a lot of updates with food early on. Anyway, back to the story. We can also take gravel and add that to compost to give us even more dirt. We can actually multiply our compost into more dirt. And gravel comes from stone, which has just gone through a crusher to turn to gravel. My third option, which is the option I'm going to choose, is if I look at this tower, which is our dirt tower, I can just dump compost, straight into the ground. Compost is dirt. It just becomes dirt. So we're just going to dump compost into the ground. At least it used to just be dirt. Maybe things have changed. I don't know. But I'm pretty confident I can just dump it in the ground and we can plant plants on top. All right. So I'm going to put in a bucket of compost right here. We're going to set you to compost and we'll just drag that down a little bit. All right. The other ingredient, the fuel gas. I need to bring the fuel gas out, which we're going to do. No, I don't want a pipe that big. I want a thin, skinny pipe. I'm going to bring the fuel gas out. I'm going to bring the other fuel gas out and the other fuel gas into the other fuel gas. Cool. Same story. I'm just going to put a tank. Yep. Right here. And we can save it for later. The other thing I'm going to do is I need to make sure the system doesn't back up because that would be bad. And I could put in balance and all sorts of things. By the same token, we've done a lot of cleaning up of pollution. So we're going to put a nightlight outside the town. The nightlight is going to be burning fuel gas because we're making about 5 fuel gas, like I said. And for every 4 fuel gas you burn, it creates 1 pollution, 1 air pollution. Yep. So we're going to burn 1 air pollution worth of, waste. Yeah. Now, if you say, hang on, Jetty, here you are cleaning up stuff to then turn it into air pollution. You know, you're making 1, you're cleaning up. No, okay, let's go over pollution really, really quickly. Pollution. I currently have 82 water pollution that we're dumping, in the sea, which is causing me a -9 in water pollution. Okay. If we go back in here and we go into pollution, I have 56 air pollution, which is worth about 5 or 6 minus health. I'm going to add 1 to that 56. So it's like 0.1 of a negative to the health of the people by taking away 81 water pollution. It's a win-win. The only thing I need to add to this system is going to be the chlorine. The chlorine we actually have over here. So over here, we're making chlorine, which is going into plastic, which has filled the box. So what I want to do is I want to grab off my chlorine pipe, which is going to be awkward because it's under there. R and F, please. Cool. And then we're going to run to height 3. We're going to run through this gap, which is technically going to block Diggy boys going that way, but we're not going to have any Diggy boys going that way for a long time, if ever. And then we're going to run to here, and again, I need to run the opposite direction. Look, you just live there for 2 seconds. All right, we're going to run our pipe under here, to here, to there, to there, to there, to that spot, to that spot, to that spot, and oh, that doesn't line up at all. Cool. Well, fine. You can just do a zigzag when you get to the top. Perfect. Works for me. All right. Apart from the zigzag, you're a great pipe. All right, so we're going to run our chlorine here to here to here. Okay, over the other pipe, it turns out, to here, right across. I was saying right across the front. That is anything but right across the front. Okay, pipe that gets carried away, which we're then going to circle that underneath because we can. And that means, no. Copy. Paste. Oh, that has a pipe there. Rotate. Cool. Remove that connector. Height 3, height 2, height. Yeah, I wanted to go that way in case we need to run this water pipe across the top for a third, future, fourth, future poopy plant. All right. The only other thing I need to do is, obviously, we still have this pipe attached, which is going out to sea. I want to keep it. It's a super important pipe. It is the oh shit pipe. Literally, it's going to be full of shit. So what I want to do is I'm going to put a balancer in here. We're going to have a priority out, which we're going to run into here. And our plan is going to be all the poop goes to here, 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 and it's filtered rather than, well, being dumped in the sea. We need to set you to sand. We need to drag that bar up. And we need to, well, let's start at this end so I make sure this is done. Unity, all the uni. That zigzag in there is all built. Cool. We're going to build all of that. I need to build that. I need to build that belt. I need to build you, all of that. I need to build the whole gas pipe, including the flare. And that should, I want to get that belt pipe under there so I don't miss the future. And chlorine should be everything. I hope. Okay, you need to have sand, which somebody should bring along shortly. The balancer could be important. All right, you. I have an alert. Notify me if more than 25%. That's the one I want. Okay. Can I turn that off and then on? Cool. All right, so you're going to notify me if more than 25%. You're not going to run yet because you don't have all your things, which means one of these two should probably fill up. Chlorine, we can see chlorine in the pipe. And you're good to go. You're good to go. You need fuel gas as your setting. And you will just burn 50% of our fuel gas until further notice. All right, what I want to do, very quickly, demonstration. Not enough maintenance one. Okay, well, that's not the demonstration I was looking for. But that is a lack of mechanical parts. Now, can I build you please, and you please, and then you're outputting 2448, which means you need to be upgraded and you need to be upgraded. Can I do that and that? And we are 900. We're right on the border. Can I? No, I don't want to copy that. I want to copy that belt into there and that belt into there. Cool. See, we accidentally intentionally built this earlier so we could fix our maintenance problems before we even knew about them. All right, back to our story. This says fluid storage 2 has a high supply of wastewater. That is helpful. What I want to do is I want to rename this to too much poop. Okay. All right. We're going to turn that notification off. We're going to unpause that pipe for just a second. You'll flow down. I'm just waiting for this alert to disappear. Look at those animations. This is what we're here to see. Pause pipe. And now we get an alert that says too much poop has a high supply of wastewater. This is why we set up alerts correctly and we name the ones that are going to be important. Because you might not read wastewater. You might just read meh, yeah, yeah, and ignore it. If it says clearly in all caps, too much poop, you know exactly what your problem is. You have too much poop. All right, so you're going to prioritize in our clean water, which means we're going to get that refund. You're going to prioritize our wastewater into our tanks, so we have that notification. You would technically be plugged into there if we ever need to double the system. We have a lovely wastewater treatment plant, which should clear up an awful lot of poop for us. And our health is now up to 23. I don't remember what we started at, but water pollution is going to become 0 in another month after it finishes processing. Air pollution is down to 4. We started off at -8 and -8. There we go. So we started off at a total of -16, plus we had the flu or something else. We're now down to -4, which means we have 24 health. The people are healthy. We also have some bonus uni. I want to dump into recycling increase, because that's going to crank our recycling plant from 30%. Well, hang on, let's just turn it off for a second. You're at 35%. If I spend 2 uni in here, we go up to 75% recycling efficiency, which is going to cut down the amount of materials that we're using. Okay, I'm also blowing uni on truck overload edicts and maintenance reducers and vehicle fuel savers, but we're still positive just. And as you can see, I use a whole lot of uni to do a whole lot of building. Uni is something that, it's important. It's important. It's very important. You don't want to run out, but you can afford to spend it. And you guys have finished dumping. I need this tower to physically exist. So you guys can also dump to this tower, which was doing trash. It's now going to do rock. So I can finish building out this corner. And the Diggy team can get rezoned to here. Yep. And we built those extra 10 excavators. They're all done. And we can crank that number back up. And that means you need 40 plus trucks. And we are probably going to need another at least 5 trucks. Yeah, cool. Diggy boys have some diggy jobs, and I need to call this episode here. We've made a lot of progress. Next episode, we need to go through the tech and cancel out some things that we've been using and we've talked about and we have set up. And meanwhile, Diggy team's going to keep clearing off the surface, and we should be able to fill out this corner for some more land. Also, we can extend out our dock if we need to. And we have a crap ton of pumps and dumps, and clean water has not backed up, which is always a good sign. We do have a tank here to go this way. Possibly we should put a buffer tank in here for the just in case factor. But even though we're not running maximum capacity with our seawater and our brine, we're not running these guys flat out. Okay, we're not dumping exhaust. I call it a win-win. So I'm going to call this episode here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the very next episode. All right, that's it. We're out. Bye.